No one comes back from that moment. Not in this lifetime. We don't have a testimony, a video, a clear account from someone who died and returned to describe what happened in that final second before the soul left the body. But the sages did see something. For thousands of years, the greatest minds in Jewish tradition studied the mystery of death, not as philosophers debating the abstract, but as spiritual witnesses studying the patterns of what happens when a Neshamah, a soul, separates from flesh. The Talmud speaks of it. The Zohar illuminates it. Maimonides explains it. And what they saw changes everything about how we understand mercy in that threshold moment. Here is what I want you to know before we go deeper. You are not watching this by accident tonight. Whether you're afraid of your own death, grieving someone you've lost, or simply touching the edge of this question in the quiet hours. What the sages teach about that second before will not terrify you. It will hold you. If this teaching speaks to your Neshamah, I'd be grateful if you joined our community. We explore these truths together every week, and your presence matters. Part 1. Establishing Sacred Ground and Introducing the Mystery. 8 paragraphs, 800 to 1,000 words. Let me be clear about something from the start. I'm not a spiritualist. I'm not claiming I've seen the other side. I don't have secret knowledge that contradicts what the sages taught. And I'm not going to pretend certainty about mysteries the Talmud itself leaves open. What I'm sharing with you comes from the tradition, from the written sources, the oral teachings, the accumulated wisdom of generations of Jewish teachers who studied death the way a physician studies the body. This is not my opinion. This is what the tradition holds. The angel of death, what we call the Malach HaMavet, the messenger assigned the task of separating soul from body, appears in Jewish sources not as a demon, not as a force of evil, but as a specific creation with a specific divine purpose. A malach, in Hebrew thought, is a messenger. It's a spiritual being sent to accomplish one thing. This one's role is precise: to attend the moment when the Neshamah, your eternal soul, releases itself from the body it has inhabited. And here's what matters. This is not punishment. This is not arrest. This is not judgment. This is the next transition, as natural and as necessary as birth. The Talmud in Tractate Avodah Zarah teaches something remarkable. It says that in the moment of death, the eyes see what the living cannot see. The dying person perceives a reality that's been invisible to them their whole life. Think about that for a moment. All those years walking through this world, you move through dimensions of reality you cannot perceive with ordinary vision. And then, in that final moment, the veil thins. The spiritual eye opens, and what had been hidden becomes visible. You see presences you didn't know were there. But who is present? This is where the sages become tender. They don't describe the angel of death as a figure of terror coming to claim you. They describe it as a presence that has been assigned to you specifically, to your soul, by name, since before you were born. Hashem, the God of all existence, who knows every cell of your body, every thought of your mind, every longing of your heart, has appointed this messenger to be there in that moment, not as a stranger, not as an enemy, as the one who knows your name. There's something the tradition emphasizes again and again that we've nearly forgotten in modern times. In that final second, you don't face an abstract judgment. You face clarity. The soul in that moment, separated from the body's confusion, its appetites, its distractions, sees itself as it actually is. This is why the sages built the mitzvah of vidui, the deathbed confession. Not because you need to apologize to an angry God. You need to speak truth. In that moment, honesty is the only language that makes sense. The soul recognizes what it has done, what it has become, what it still can be. The Zohar, the foundational text of Jewish mysticism, describes the soul's separation with a gentleness that's almost shocking. It doesn't tear away. It doesn't fight. For the righteous, the soul departs the way a hare slips out of milk, naturally, gently, without violence. The body releases it, and in that release there is no abandonment. There is receiving. The sages teach that in that moment you meet your own truth, your own light, your own eternal self, and you are received by that light. Here's what I need you to understand. The sages knew fear. They knew what it feels like to be human, to contemplate your own mortality, to lie awake at night wondering if anyone will be there when your time comes. And they taught these things, these specific, detailed teachings about what happens in that threshold moment, not to satisfy curiosity, but to calm fear. They were saying, you will not be alone. You will not be confused. You will not be judged by a force outside yourself. You will meet yourself, and in that meeting, you will find mercy. The sequence itself, what happens in that invisible second, is something the tradition has preserved carefully. The soul becomes aware of its departure. The spiritual eye opens. The angel of death stands present, neither as threat nor stranger, but as the messenger assigned to your soul. You recognize your own nature, that you are not the body, never were. And then the separation occurs, not violently, as a release, as a return, as coming home. Part 2. The mechanism, the comfort, and the personal call. So the sages describe it this way. In that moment before separation, the soul becomes aware that it is departing. This is not sudden shock. It's recognition. The Neshamah has always known it was not the body. That knowledge is built into its nature. But in the living years, that knowledge is covered over by sensation, by hunger, by the weight of flesh and the demands of staying alive. And then, as the body begins to fail, that covering lifts. The soul wakes up to what it has always been. Maimonides, the greatest Jewish philosopher of the medieval period, teaches that the soul's departure is not an ending but a clarification. The body releases what it never truly contained, and the soul, which is eternal, simply becomes what it actually is. The spiritual eye opens in that moment. The dying person sees, not with the eyes of the body, those are closing, but with the sight of the Neshamah itself. What do they see? The tradition is careful here. It doesn't say they see angels playing harps or gardens of light, though some mystical sources hint at visions of beauty and peace. What it says is this: they see what is actually there. They perceive the invisible reality that surrounds them always, and in that perception they are no longer alone. Presences gather. The Talmud speaks of this. The Zohar speaks of this, not as metaphor, as reality. The angel of death stands present, the one who has been assigned to this soul by Hashem. This is critical to understand. You have never been a stranger to this malach. Your soul knew this messenger before you were born. This is not a random encounter. This is an appointment kept. The Talmud in Avodah Zarah teaches that 40 days before a person is born, an announcement goes out in the heavens declaring who this person will be, who their parents will be, and what their fate will be. All of this is known. All of it is ordered. Your death is not a surprise to Hashem. It is not an accident. It is the next step of a journey that was planned before time began. The soul recognizes its own nature in that moment. This is the turning point. After 70, 80, 90 years of being clothed in flesh, of experiencing life through sensation and struggle and time, the soul suddenly knows itself again as what it truly is: eternal, unchanging, not of this world. The Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, who wrote profound teachings about the soul's nature and transitions, explains that in this recognition there is profound relief. The soul has been carrying the weight of the body. It has been limited by time, by space, by the laws of physics. And suddenly it remembers, I am not bound by these things. I am eternal. I am free. And then the separation occurs. The separation itself, This is where the tradition becomes almost whisper quiet, is not violent. It is a release. The body lets go. The soul rises. And here is what the sages emphasize with such tender insistence. The soul is received, not by an angry judge, not by a force of punishment waiting to condemn, but by the divine order itself, by the presence that has never left you, not for a single moment of your life. Hashem's presence, which the Zohar teaches is wrapped around every soul like a garment, is fully there in that moment of separation. You meet it. You are held by it. You are received. I want to speak to someone right now. You're watching this late at night, perhaps in bed, perhaps unable to sleep because grief is still fresh, or because your own mortality is suddenly real to you. Maybe you lost someone recently, and you cannot stop wondering if they were afraid in that final moment. Or maybe you're older now, and you feel the approach of your own ending, and you lie awake wondering if anyone will be there, if you'll be alone, if it will hurt, if it will be dark. I want to tell you something with complete tenderness. You will not be alone. When your moment comes, and it will come, you will not be alone. Your soul will know what it is. Your soul will be received. You will not be judged harshly. You will not be abandoned. You will be met. The tradition teaches that in that moment, more than the angel of death is present. The mitzvot you have done, every act of kindness, every prayer spoken with intention, every moment you chose mercy over cruelty, they are there as testimony to who you are. Your Neshamah's own light, which has been growing throughout your lifetime, through every good choice, every moment of truth, every time you return to Hashem after stumbling. That light is there. And the sages sometimes hint, carefully, reverently, that even those you have loved and who have gone before you may be present to receive you. We don't know this for certain. The tradition doesn't claim absolute knowledge of what happens after death, but it hints at this mercy. And the hints are enough. If you're watching this at night and you're afraid of death, of being alone, of being judged, of the pain, of the darkness, I want you to know, you are not the first person to be afraid. The greatest sages knew this fear. They studied death because they were afraid. And they taught these things over and over across centuries, preserved them carefully in the Talmud and the Zohar, and in countless teachings, precisely to calm that fear. Not to deny it, not to pretend death isn't real, but to tell you what is actually true. You will be held. You will be witnessed. And the one who witnesses you is the presence that has never abandoned you, not once, not ever. Practical actions for tonight. Here is what I want you to do. Not someday, tonight. First, speak to your malach. Speak to the angel of death assigned to your soul. You can do this silently in your mind or aloud if you're alone. Say something simple. I know you. I have always known you. When my moment comes, I trust you to be there. I trust Hashem's order. I trust that I will be received. Just those words, or your own words that mean the same thing. This is not magic. It's not superstition. It's speaking truth aloud to the invisible presences that surround you always. Second, say a simple vidui, not the formal deathbed confession, though you can learn that if you wish. Just speak to Hashem about one thing you wish you had done better, one choice you wish you could remake. Not to grovel, not to apologize to an angry God, but to practice clarity, to speak truth as your soul will speak it when the moment comes. Say, I regret that name one thing. Help me live differently from now on. Help my soul know itself as eternal and free. That's all. Third, reach out to someone tomorrow. Not to tell them you're afraid, just to tell them they matter, to tell them you see them. To practice in this living moment the kind of presence you want to be received into when your time comes. Be the malach for someone else. Be the presence that witnesses. Be the one who says, you are not alone. Closing. Close your eyes for a moment. Just breathe. Let your body settle. And speak silently to Hashem. I am here. I am alive. I am awake. Help me live in a way that my soul, when it meets itself, will recognize and be at peace with. 3 truths to carry with you into sleep tonight. You are not alone. Not now. Not when your moment comes. Your soul is eternal. Everything else is temporary. And Hashem's presence, which has never left you, will be fully there in the moment of your departure, holding you, receiving you, welcoming you home. You are seen. You are held. You are known by name. Next time we'll explore something the sages teach about what happens to the soul after it separates, what the journey is like, and why the prayers we say for the departed matter so much. But for now, rest in this. When the veil thins for you, you will not be afraid. You will know.